Well, good morning to everybody. Hope you are doing well on this Wednesday. I know I'm doing very well because of one thing, and that is that today, at least here in Virginia, today will mark the first of 8 consecutive days that we will be either in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, and the low temperature will not drop below 50. So spring is here. Spring is here. Winter is dead. I have declared winter to be dead. No more winter. We're sick of winter. After a couple of weeks of ice and snow, we are sick of winter and the humongous electric bills from running the heat so much. We are sick of winter. The windows are open. I got the fresh air. Tabby is loving it. She's got right by the back door, sliding glass door where there's the screen there, and the sun in this time of day is coming right in her face. She's soaking up the fresh air. She's listening. She's getting a sun bath. She hears the birds outside making noise and singing. She loves that. So spring is, you talk about hope's eternal. Spring something about there's a quote there about hope springs eternal, I think is what it says. But spring makes hope eternal, and we are in spring now. In this replay, we're at the beginning of the summer because we're at June 15th. Third game on the June 15th date, which was a Monday in 1987. Game number 426 on the replay is the Twins and the Brew Crew from County Stadium in Milwaukee. County Stadium is symmetrical. 6s for singles for both sides and 5 for home runs. Minnesota won this game in the real world 5-0, and both starting pitchers in the real game pitched complete games. Bill Wegman and Blyleven both pitched complete games. Now, whether they do that now is, depends on what the dice do, but they are capable. If we look at their fatigue, both of them have 7. So certainly if they are pitching well, then obviously they'll be able to pull that off. So looking forward to that. And looking forward to getting outside today. Been kind of like a hermit in the house, but looking to go out and get some fresh air. Jeremiah, you and me both. I was June 15th, 1987. I had just gotten out of the service and I was in college. Well, not in June, I wasn't. It was out for I was working during the summertime for June 15th, 1987. But boy, tell you what, I was 22 years old and I was young and not so smart, but had some wild times, to say the least. All right, so Burt Blyleven, Bill Wegman. Wegman comes to the game with a record of 7-1 on the replay. Blyleven 6-5. Holding ratings, he's a -1. Surhoff's a 0, so -1. Now Blyleven is totally different. Blyleven's a +2 hold, but then you've got Butera, who's a +2 hold, so a 4 for Blyleven, which means the Brewer runners might have a good advantage going on with them right now. So now we get ready to get this game underway. We do have the ceremonial first sip is upon us. Doesn't matter what the temperature is. It'll be the middle of summer, and we're still going to have the ceremonial first sip. All right. We are ready to go. Bill Wegman in the actual season was 12-11 with a 4.24 ERA. In the replay, he's 7-1 with a 3.03 ERA. 92 innings pitched, 84 hits, 25 walks, and 38 strikeouts. So he's had a good replay so far. And leading off for the Twins will be Dan Gladden. Twins pretty much going with a standard lineup. And the Brewers, fairly standard, except they got Molitor in the lineup, but he's way down in the 5th spot. Usually he had been hitting leadoff, but he's down in the 5th spot. Still got Robideau in there because Greg Brock's on the shelf, so they have to have Robideau play first base. Deere is back. I think Deere played first base in the previous game. They got him back in left field. So I think it's a pretty standard lineup, but we shall see. So we're underway. Dan Gladden on the replay is hitting .239, 4 homers, 16 driven in. He had .249 real world. Whoa, that one, boy, starting early here now. Can't get all of them in the chute. There we go. 4-3. That's a ballpark blast right off the top. It's only a 1-5, though. That's an 11. So Gladden will just fly it out to left field for Rob Deere. And we're underway. One down for Steve Lombardozzi, second baseman. He's hitting 261 on the replay. 3 homers, 16 driven in. He hit 238 real world. 6-9. And that's going to be a single to right field. So right off Wegman's card, Lombardozzi cracks a single. Right between the hole at first and second, between Robideau and Gantner. Lombardozzi not going to be held. And that'll bring up Kirby Puckett. Puckett hitting 314 on the replay. 10 homers, 36 driven in. He hit 332 real world. First havoc roll, and that's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball. And we're looking at a balk chance. Wegman has 0 wild pitch, but he does have a 4 balk rating. So 1-4, he will balk. And he does. So Wegman, how about that? Lombardozzi dancing off the first base bag and kind of tease him for not holding him. And it causes Wegman to balk. That is a big balk because it takes the double play out of the equation. So Puckett will stand in. 4-2. That's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Swain, a 3E25. 3 and a 15 should be no issue at all. 3 and a 15 is a G1, so that means the runner on second will have to hold. That's an 8, and he's an E25. There is no 8 there, so just a G1 runner has to hold. So he will stay at second base. But again, it would have been a double play had they not had the balk. That's the big thing. The inning would have been over. But it's not, and Kent Hrbek is up in a clutch situation. Hrbek hitting 300 even on the replay. In 210 at bats, he's got an even 300 batting average. 16 homers, 44 driven in. He hit 295 or 285, I think it was real world. Yeah, 285 real world. In the clutch, gains a hit on 112. Everywhere else, he is neutral. Wegman trying to get out of the mini jam he put himself in. 5-9 against the lefty. That's a pop-up to short. There's a dot there, but of course, first inning, we're not worried about fatigue, particularly since both these pitchers pitched complete games in the real game. So we're looking for a lot of length out of both starters unless they get shelled. So we go to the bottom of the first. Bert Blyleven on the mound. He was 15-12 with a 4.01 ERA in the real season. In the replays, 6-5 with a 4.32 ERA. 102 innings pitched, 88 hits, 40 walks, and 80 strikeouts. And he'll be taking on Mike Felder, the center fielder. Robin Yount getting the day off today for whatever reason. He is on the bench. He is available to pinch hit or substitute. But for whatever reason, Tom Troublehorn decided to give him the day off. Maybe he doesn't do well against Blyleven. I don't know. But Felder's in there. He's hitting 347 in very limited duty, just 49 at bats. No homers, 3 driven in. He hit 266 real world in the full season. 6-6, switch your bang left, and that is a 1-5 single. That's a 16, so he lines it right to Lombardozzi. And there's one away. One down, and that brings up Rick Manning. Manning in right field for this one, giving Glenn Braggs the day off. So Manning hitting 310 in limited duty, just 42 at bats. No homers, 8 driven in. He hit 228 real world and 114 at bats. 4-11, and that's a strikeout for Blyleven. First strikeout for Blyleven. 2 up, 2 down. It brings up the designated hitter Cecil Cooper. Cooper hitting 206 on the replay. 6 homers, 20 driven in. He hit 248 real world. 110 for Cooper. And that is a fly ball to right field. Hauled in by Randy Bush, and that's going to be an easy 1-2-3 inning for Bert Blyleven. Played one complete at Milwaukee's County Stadium, and it's no score. Twins and the Brew Crew. Toronto won their game behind Jimmy Key's 14th win yesterday, so Milwaukee has to win to hold pace or else they'll drop a game back. So an important game for them. And, of course, Minnesota trying to catch Oakland. So important game for both directions, each division. Hey, Tony. Yeah, well, I use a Strat computer or other computer sources. I use Diamond Mine, Action PCs, a whole bunch of them that I use that if I'm doing a season replay, that will give you the active 25 or 26 man rosters, whatever they are. You can kind of piecemeal it together through Baseball Reference or Retro Sheet, but that's a pain in the butt. So I prefer to let the computer do the heavy lifting. Strat computer was good for something, keeping stats and telling me who's active. But yeah, that any tool you can use to help your in your replay is going to be wonderful. All right, here's Gary Gaetti hitting 271 in the replay, 15 homers, 58 driven in. He at 257 real world. 2-3, and that's going to be a line out to short. Tell you, when I finally finish this replay, which who knows how long that'll take, next year sometime, I imagine. What I really like to do is get back and do a one team replay. That way I can manage the one team and really dig deep into their roster and management and so forth, and really follow all the transactions and look at the transactions for the whole season and plot my strategy and everything, and kind of be the man. And then let the computer manage everything else, so I can just focus on one team. That really kind of, and I kind of did that when I did the Washington Nationals replay on Inside Pitch a few years ago, the 2019 replay. That was fun. I enjoy doing just the one team, so I can focus on the one team. Here's Roy Smalley hitting 268, 3 homers, 19 driven in, and he hit 275 real world. 5-6 switch hitter, and that's a line out to third. Granted, that kind of replay is not the best for videos because people are going to get tired of seeing the same team over and over. With this kind of replay, at least you're getting all the teams. So take the good with the bad, I guess. You are correct, Jeremiah. Digital Diamond is also another good resource for that. Absolutely. Here's Randy Bush. He is hitting 238, 2 homers, 14 driven in. He at 253 real world. 6-8 left-handed, ground ball to second, and that's going to be an easy play for Gantner. And Twins go away pretty easily here in the top of the second. We go to the bottom of the second. No score. And if it sounds like I have a little pep in my step, I do, because of the weather. I felt like I was in hibernation for like 3 months. And now I feel like a caterpillar that's gotten out of the cocoon, ready to spread my wings. All right, here is Rob Deere. Deere, the left fielder, hitting 232, 6 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 238 real world. 6-8, and that's a fly to left field, one away. Here's Paul Molitor. Molitor hitting 400 even in 135 at bats. He's hitting exactly 400 in the replay. 7 homers, 39 driven in. He hit 353 real world. 6-9, and that's a fly to right, so that'll drop him below the 400 mark now. Put him at like 398 or something. So still surpassing what he did in real world. Here's Billy Joe Robideau. Robideau is hitting 256 in just 39 at bats. No homers, 5 driven in. He only hit 194 in 62 at bats in real season. So very limited time for Robideau. If he was injured or they just didn't like the way he played. 1-6 is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. Second strikeout for Blyleven. Brew Crew go without a hint of anything, and at the end of 2, we got no score. Pitching duel has taken over, at least in the first 2 innings. And Greg Gagne, still the only guy to ever get a cycle in this replay. Greg Gagne. Most unlikely of cycle guys, but he got it. That was a while back. I don't remember what game it was in, but I know he got the cycle. Greg Gagne is hitting 360 on the replay, which is 95 points higher than he did in real world. He only hit 265 real world. 5 homers, 26 driven in, so he has definitely overperformed. 3-4, and that's a ground ball to third. That's going to be handled over there by Molitor. 1 down. Brewers happy to have Molitor back in the lineup for sure. Here's Sal Butera, and he just was a horrible catcher. I don't know why the Twins got him from the Reds, but they did, and he didn't stay long either, so they figured out he could not catch. On the replay, he's hitting an even 215 at bats, a homer and 4 driven in. He hit 171 in 111 at bats, real world. 6-6, and that's a fly to center. Hauled in by Felder, 2 down. And that'll send us back to the top of the order for Dan Gladden. Whoa, hopping dice. We got to redo that. Even the dice are pumped up for spring. 3-8. Ground ball to short. Swain takes care of it. Another 1-2-3 inning. And Twins are out of there. Bottom of the third, no score. Good morning, Kathy. Always enjoy your trivia questions. Feel free to drop them whenever you have the have one available that you think might be interesting. Bert Blyleven, and of course, got my good coffee here. Even though it's warming up, I still got to have my coffee. B.J. Surhoff, the catcher, will lead things off. He's hitting 328 on the replay, 6 homers, 21 driven in. He hit 299 real world. That's a 4-10, and that's a fly ball to center field, and Puckett easily loafs over there and makes the play. And here's Jim Gantner. Gantner, second baseman, hitting 289 on the replay, a homer and 14 driven in. He hit 272 in the actual season. 210 for Gantner, and that's a fly to center. So Puckett, first time wasn't good enough. He did it again. 2 down for Dale Swain, the shortstop, number 9 hitter, switch hitter. Swain hitting 329 on the replay, 12 homers, 38 driven in. He hit 252 in the actual season. 3-9, and that's a 1-10 single. That's a 7, so that's a base hit for Dale Swain. First hit of the Brewers. Swain, no threat to run. He will not be held. And here's Mike Felder. First havoc roll for Blyleven. 4-8, switch hitter batting left-handed, is a strikeout for Blyleven, his third. And that'll take care of business. So at the end of 3 complete, we have a 0-0 ball game here in Milwaukee. And now if you will, hello, Jason. And now if you turn your attention to the chat area, Kathy has a spring top 4 trivia question. And here it is. At one time, the Sacramento Kings, Oakland Athletics, New Jersey Devils, and Minnesota Twins were at some point in their history located in what U.S. city? Wow. That's interesting. Wow, couldn't have all been in that place. Well, I know that Sacramento Kings used to be the Kansas City Omaha Kings. I know Oakland used to be the Kansas City Athletics, but I don't know about the Devils or the Twins. I don't know anything about hockey to begin with. Twins were in Minnesota. I don't remember when in Washington. I don't remember them ever being in D.C. So that's interesting. So I don't know. It's either D.C. or Kansas City. I'm not sure which one, but like I said, no Sacramento Kings used to be in Kansas City because they were the Kansas City Omaha Kings. I remember the hyphenated name. KC. All right, the Twins were in KC. I don't remember the Twins being in KC. Like I said, I know they were in Washington. I don't remember the Twins being in KC, though. But that's interesting. I just knew the first 2 were. I don't know anything about the Devils. I don't know about history of hockey in Kansas City. I couldn't tell you a thing about that. That one I know nothing about. But excellent trivia question. Like I said, I don't picture Minnesota having anything to do with Kansas City, but hey, obviously they did. So there you go. All right, here's Steve Lombardozzi. 6-7 for Lombardozzi. He's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Mr. Gantner. He's a 2E14. 2 and a 13, he'll get to that. That's an 11, and he is an E14. E14, there's no 11 there, just 15, 16, and 18, plus a 3. So it's a 4-3 ground out for out number 1. So we gotta go back to the Strat thing. I was on the wrong thing there because I was doing the trivia. All right, so ground ball to second, one away. And here's Kirby Puckett. Puckett, 1-5, and that is a home run, 1 to an 11, but that's a 17, so he'll settle with a double. But if you're Wegman, that's better than giving up a dinger. So a double by Puckett. He's in scoring position with 1 out for Kent Hrbek. 3-7, and that's a walk. Boy, 3-6 would have been a straight-up home run, but 3-7 is a walk. So Wegman again dodged what could have been trouble. First walk issued by Wegman. He's not like he's in trouble anyway here, but a double play gets him right out of the inning. And Gary Gaetti has a series of ground ball A's on his card, as you can see. So he is a good double play candidate. And that's what they're trying for. They're trying for the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game if they can get it. 4-6, but that's a ground ball second base C, so the runners are going to advance to second and third. Now 2 outs. Clutch situation for Roy Smalley. See what he can do in the clutch. Smalley, a switch hitter in the clutch against right-handers. He loses a hit on 1-7. Everywhere else he's neutral. Second and third, 2 outs. First scoring threat of the game. 1-7, and he will get a single, but it's his one anti-clutch, and he found it. What are the odds of that? Well, 1 in 36, because there's 3 by 12. It's a 1 in 36 grid here. So I don't know if that's like a 3% chance, maybe less than a 3% chance, 2-point-something percent. And he found it. 1-7 is his anti-clutch roll. So that single will now turn into a pop-up to second, and the inning is over. Talk about anti-clutch. Wow. And some people don't play with the clutch, but if I'm playing Super Advanced, I'm playing the clutch and the ballparks. I don't do the robbing the home runs or blocking the plate, but I'll do everything else. All right, here's Blyleven back out. He thought he was going to get some runs, but it didn't work out that way for him. Here's Rick Manning. He struck out Manning his first time up. 2-5, and not this time. 1-18 is going to be a double. So Rick Manning, a leadoff double. And the Brewers looking to cash in where the Twins couldn't. Here's Cecil Cooper, which Blyleven does have that strikeout pitch. 3-9, didn't get it here. 3-9 is going to be a single to center field. Puckett, though, with that -4 arm and nobody out, they will hold Manning. They don't want to take a chance getting thrown out at the plate, especially with nobody out. So runners at the corners, nobody out for Rob Deere. Deere is a strikeout waiting to happen, though. Infield is going to play in because he doesn't really hit ground balls. So the infield is playing in. Try to choke that runoff. 4-12, and that's a ground ball first base C. It's a good thing they played the infield in, huh? Ground ball first base C. Let's get to our chart for the official base running advancement. Runners are at the corner, infield in, runners are at the corners. Ground ball C is an 8. Batter out, runner on third holds. So runner first goes to second. So the ground ball first base C, what that basically means is Robideau fields it. I'm sorry, not Robideau. Hrbek fields it, checks the runner at third, tags the bag. Cooper will motor down, or not motor, he's old, but he'll trot down to second. Thought about trying to turn the double play, but I think he looked at it and said, I better take the shore out. And so 3 unassisted it is. Now it's second and third with 1 out for Paul Molitor, and the infield is definitely in now with 1 out. Oh, cool. Thank you, Jeremiah. See, we learn these things around here. All right, here is, thank you for the math there, Are You Talking? That's a very small percentage. I just didn't want to take time to do the math. But anyway, the infield is in for Molitor. Trying to choke that runoff in a scoreless game. 1-6, it's not going to matter where you play on that. 1-6 is a 1-5 triple. That is a 5. It's a 2-run triple for Paul Molitor. and the Brew Crew lead it 2-0. They've already surpassed what they did real world when they got beat 5-0. Now they're up 2-0. RBI triple from Paul Molitor. That's his first triple of the replay. He had 5 of them real world. That's the first one he got in the replay. But he did have 5 in the real season. And now the infield stays in with 1 out and a runner at third for Billy Joe Robideau. Blyleven could use a strikeout right about now. 4-8. And he gets it right on cue. There's a dot there, but he's not fatigued yet. So the strikeout certainly helps. 2 down. Now it's a clutch situation for B.J. Surhoff. Surhoff is a very good hitter. You could walk him and pitch to Gantner. Surhoff is a .299 hitter, Gantner .272, so they're still close enough. I don't think you want to walk Surhoff. So they'll go ahead and pitch to Surhoff, but try to be careful about it. Although Surhoff does get some hits here, 1-8 and 1-9 in the clutch, he gains hits. Of course, the opposing manager doesn't know that, so you're not going to manage that way. Also, 2-2, he gains a hit. So Blyleven just says, give me the ball. 1-6, and that's a single, 1-19. That's a base hit. RBI single from Surhoff. Makes it 3-0. 3-0 on the single from B.J. Surhoff. And I don't think he's any. Oh, he actually is a threat to run. B.J. Surhoff's going to look to get the lead. Needs a 5 through 9 to get the lead. He doesn't get it, so he's got to hold. And that brings up Gantner. 3-0 Brewers, all in this 4th inning. 4-7, and that's another walk. Actually, the first walk issued by Blyleven. Keeps the inning going. Now Swain in a clutch situation. He gains a hit on 1-4 and 1-10 and on 3-10. It's a 5-8 switch hitter batting left, and that's a strikeout again. Again, dot is irrelevant at this point. But what's not irrelevant is 3 runs from the Milwaukee Brewers, and they take a 3-0 lead as they were trying to win this game and tie the Blue Jays for first place in the American League East. Of course, Twins are trying to chase the Oakland A's. All right, Randy Bush will lead off against Wegman. 4-4, and that is a ground ball third base X, so we are looking at Molitor. He's a 4.22. 4 and a 14, he'll be okay with that. He'll get to that. A 4 and a 14 is a G2. That's a 10. You don't usually get many errors with 10s. E22 at third base. There's 12, 14, 16, 15, and 18, but no 10. So Molitor does make the play on Randy Bush. And there's one away. That'll send up Greg Gagne. 6-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Gantner. He's a 2E14. 2 and a 17 is good all day long. That's an 11. E14 and an 11. E14, 15, 16, 3, and 18. So good play for Gantner as he takes care of business. 2 down. And it'll take us to Sal Butera. 4-9. And Wegman, that's a solid double by Butera. They had to come off the pitcher card because Butera is so bad. But he gets a break off of the Wegman card. 2-out double. Of course, he runs like molasses. It'll be hard to score him. But I get 2 stars on his single if he's going to score him here, Dan Gladden. He's in the clutch, and he loses a hit in the clutch on 2-8 and on 3-3. So it's a couple clutch spots that he needs to avoid. 2-4, and that's a line out to third. Snagged by Molitor, and that will end the inning. So the 2-out double doesn't amount to anything. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still 3-0. And Kathy has another trivia question for us at the top of the next inning. So get your thinking caps on for that. Top of the order for the Brew Crew, Mike Felder, the only guy that didn't bat last inning, will bat now. 6-11, And that's a fly ball left field X. We are looking at Gladden. He's a 2E5. You would think he would make the play. 2 and an 8 certainly shouldn't be an issue. 2 and an 8 is an F2, and that's a 12, and he's an E5. Left fielder, E5. There's a 14 and 18 and a 4, but no 12. So Gladden will make the play. And hopefully Xfinity will behave today. Not like yesterday where I had the issues. Circles in the sand and all that stuff. Here's Rick Manning. 5-4. And that's an in-home run chance straight up against Blyleven. He was susceptible to the gopher ball in real world. In real world, he gave up 46 home runs in the 87 season. So a 5-4 is a straight-up home run, but Rick Manning has weak power. So Rick Manning would have had a home run, but he's got weak power, lefty and righty. He had no home runs in the whole seasons, but it will be a single. But that would have been a straight-up home run. But Rick Manning, not one with power. Basic game, that would have been a home run, but not in advanced or super advanced. Here is Rick Manning. He's going to try to get a lead. He needs a 5. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold. And here's Cecil Cooper. 2-10 for Cooper, and that's a ground ball back to the pitcher A. That's going to be a double play. 1-6-3. Not the Giovanni's tailor-made double play, but a double play nonetheless on that 2-10 ground ball pitcher A. And the Twins take care of the Brew Crew in the bottom of the 5th. So at the end of 5 innings of play, it's Milwaukee 3 and Minnesota nothing. And if you would turn your attention to the chat box, Kathy has a second question for us to decipher. And we'll see if we can figure it out. Who won Manager of the Year for 4 different franchises? Wow, that's going back a ways. Manager of the Year for 4 different franchises. Somebody had to get around a lot. That's obvious. Woo. I have a guess, but I'm going to let other people chime in. But the one I'm thinking of only did it 3 times, though, I think. I don't think it was a 4th time. You think here. He did Montreal, Boston, Oakland. Yeah, okay, the guy I'm thinking of. All right. The guy I'm thinking of is Dick Williams. He did it with the A's, the Padres. Oh, Thomas got it. Showalter did it. Okay. I know Dick Williams managed 4 different teams to the playoffs. Actually, Montreal, he didn't make the playoffs in Montreal. So it is Showalter. Okay. Arizona, Baltimore, Arizona. Who else did he manage? Yankees, maybe? Did he manage Texas? I'm trying to remember the teams he managed. Kathy, can you give us a list of the teams he managed in that stretch? I know he managed Baltimore to the playoffs, and he managed Arizona to the World Series, I believe he did. Or was that Bob Brenly? I don't remember who the manager was in 2001. Some of the years kind of go together on me. Anyway, thank you for that trivia question. 1994, 2004, 2022, and 2014. Okay. 2022, 2004. All right. Good deal. All right. Top of the 6th we go. Wegman still keeping that shutout going. We'll be facing Lombardozzi, Puckett, and Herbeck. That's a 5-9, right-handed, and that is a pop out to second base. So Gantner will take care of business and make the play. 1 down for Puckett. He doubled his last time up. got stranded at third base. 110, and that's a ballpark blast. One of the few ballpark chances we've had. Ballpark blast, but it's only 1-5. It's not very friendly. 16, that's going to be just a deep fly ball to left. In the Metrodome, that may very well have been a home run, but not in County Stadium. So Puckett flies to the track, and Rob Deere puts it away. 2 down for Kent Herbeck. 0 for 1 for Herbeck with a walk. 1-5, and it's a ground ball to second. 1-2-3 inning once again for Bill Wegman. He is on his game for sure. It was Brenly in 2001. Thank you I thought that's who it was. I didn't think it was Showalter. I thought it was Brenly. But yeah, once you get past 2000, it starts to get a little blurry for me because I just didn't follow modern baseball that well. Let's see. I did pick it up in 2019 because the Nationals were good, so did follow them a little bit. But in the early 2000s, I wasn't all that enamored with baseball, so I didn't really follow it that well. Here's Rob Deere for 6, and that's a base on balls. Second walk issued by Blyleven. Leadoff walk to Deere. Deere with a 7, he can get a lead. So with that +4 sitting out there, it's a good chance to get a steal. Doesn't get it, though. He won't get the lead, so he'll hold. And here's Paul Molitor. Tripled, RB at 2-run triple his last time up. 5-9, and that is a fly ball to center field. Puckett is there. 1 away. And that'll send up Billy Joe Robideau, first baseman. He is 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Probably why it didn't last too long. 1 is a wild pitch chance on Blyleven, which is a 10. And there goes the wild pitch, and there goes the chance at the double play. Blyleven uncorks one that Butera just couldn't handle. Uncle Charlie got out of hand there. Here's Robideau. 2-6 for Robideau, struck him out. Strikeout number 6 for Mr. Blyleven, and a hat trick for Robideau. He struck out all 3 times. So Robideau. So you can see the Brewers are missing Greg Brock already. They just get Molitor back, and now they're missing Greg Brock. So here's Surhoff. Clutch situation for Surhoff, which he singled his last time up in the clutch. 2-8, and this time he'll do it again. 1-5 is a triple. That's a 13. It's a single 2 stars, but that wild pitch is good enough to put the runner at second and cause this to be an RBI single. So Blyleven hurt himself with that wild pitch. That was huge. Makes it now 4-0. Surhoff with 2 runs batted in his last 2 at bats. Here's Jimmy Gantner. Gantner. 1-7, and that's a home run, 1-2, and that is a 2. Jimmy Gantner, of all people, he had 4 home runs in the real season in 265 at bats. This is at bat number 189. He just hit his second of the replay. Look at it again at his card. 1-7 is a 1-2 home run, and the double die is a 2. So it's a 2-run home run from Jim Gantner. And they are just making Bert Blyleven's day not so good. Second home run of the season in the replay for Gantner. He had 4 home runs real world in 265 at bats. He had 4 home runs. This is at bat number 189, and he hits his second home run. RBI is 15 and 16. And it is all of a sudden 6-0 favor of the Brewers as they put another 3 runs on the board. Blyleven obviously looks like he's not going to get a complete game. Here's Swain, 5-4, and that's an in-home run chance straight up on Blyleven, and this time Swain has normal power. That is gone. Blyleven may not even make it out of the inning, much less a complete game. Back-to-back jacks. Swain, that is home run number 13 for him. On the replay, he had 25 real-world home runs. Home run 13, RBI number 39. It is now 7-0. 4-score inning. Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning for the Brewers. And Blyleven has reached his fatigue, but Tom Kelly is going to leave him out there and try to get that third out of the inning. Then go to the bullpen. 1-8 is a fly to right, and he finally does it. So that'll do it for Blyleven, as he got rocked in this one. He goes 6 innings, and he's going to give up 7 runs, all of which were earned. He gave up 9 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 6. And they'll have to figure out who's going to be in the bullpen to mop up after this, because Blyleven couldn't get it done the whole way. We go to the top of the 7th. This is the fatigue inning for Wegman, but he's got a 7-0 lead to work with, so obviously you can give him a little leeway. Certainly will keep him in there as long as he's got a shutout. Here's Gary Gaetti. Gaetti, Smalley, and Bush. Boy, I might need more coffee here. Wet the whistle here. Gaetti, Smalley, and Bush. 4-4. Ground ball third base X. Mahler once again for E22. 4 and a 5. This is going to be close. This may get through for a hit. I think it will, actually. 4 and a 5 does get through for a hit. That's a 17. This could be a hit plus an error. E22 at third base and a 17. No, he somehow danced around it. The errors are 12, 14, 15, 16, and 18, but he got a 17, so he avoids the error. But it will be a base hit for Gary Gaetti. Leadoff single for Gaetti. Of course, down 7-0. The Twins aren't, no matter who's up there, they're not running. Here's Roy Smalley, the designated hitter. He's 0 for 2. Ooh, dropping my D20. Where did that go? That thing flopped right out of my hand, and now I don't know where it went. Went in Tappy's little fort there. Okay. 1-7 for Smalley, and that is a single to center field. I believe it's the same exact role he had up here in the clutch situation that cost him a hit. This time it is no clutch. It's just going to be a single. And again, down 7-0. Nobody's going to be taking the extra base. They're going to be going station to station. So first 2 are on, and that'll bring up Randy Bush. So Wegman's got to be careful, because he could reach his fatigue very quickly, despite the 7-0 lead. That doesn't help with the fatigue. 2-11, and that's a hit by pitch. So he gets plunked. Wegman might be starting to lose it all of a sudden. I heard in real baseball, if a team has a long inning at bat and the pitcher sits on the bench, he could get maybe a little, not cold necessarily, but maybe off his, he loses sharpness because he sat there for so long. I don't know if that's the case here or not. But bases are loaded now for Gagne. Of course, the infield is back. They want to get outs. They don't care about the 1 run that might score. They want a double play. 1-9, not going to get it. 1-10 is a triple. That's a 15. It'll be a double for Gagne, and that might be it for Wegman. He's just lost it all of a sudden. So scoring is Gaetti and Smalley. Bush will, again, down by 5 runs. You're not taking any chances, so station to station. And now Wegman is tired, but I think Troublehorn is like, let's get him out of here. So Bill Wegman will exit. He goes 6+. He cannot get any outs in the 7th. He's going to go 6+. He's going to give up 6 hits and 2 runs, but these 2 are his responsibility also. He is going to walk just 1 and strike out. Did he go through he went through the whole game with no strikeouts. Do you believe that? 1 walk and no strikeouts not a single strikeout for Wegman. That's very, very unusual. But he got no strikeouts. So let's see who the most rested guy in the bullpen is, and they will pinch hit for Butera. We're in the 7th inning, so there's no way in hell Butera is going to hit. The Twins will be pinch hitting for Butera big time. Not sure they're going to use yet. Going to use switch hitter Gene Larkin. That way it doesn't matter who the Brewers bring in. They're going to bring in Gene Larkin to pinch hit. And then they'll use Mark Salas to catch. So Larkin will pinch hit here in the top of the 7th. And then Salas will catch in the 7th, the former Yankee. All right, so Gene Larkin is going to get the pinch hitting call. But right now, the Brewers need to figure out who they're going to bring in to pitch. And that's probably going to be based on who's the most rested. And as we look at their bullpen, let's see. Clear, Basio, Aldrich. Aldrich is the most rested. He's not very good, though. That's the problem. Do we go to Aldrich anyway? Because he's the most rested. Boy, you know what? They're going to go. They're going to go to Mark Clear. They want to get out of the inning. Then they might bring, if they keep a 4 or 5 run lead, then they can bring in Aldrich to finish it out, maybe. But they got to get out of the jam. There's nobody out, and there's 2 guys on base. So they're going with Mark Clear. Clear is a +1 hold. Although I don't know that's going to matter right now. Let's get the numbers on Clear in the replay and on the season. In the replay, he is 2-3 with 2 saves and a 2.20 ERA. Real world, he was 8-5, 6 saves, and a 4.48 ERA. He's in there to face the pinch hitter Gene Larkin. Nobody out. Infield is back because they still lead at 7-2. They need outs. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, and nobody out, but they need outs. Clear to Larkin. 5-7, and that's a base on balls. That's not going to help their cause any. That's going to load the bases. And now, back to the top of the order for Dan Gladden. Infield looking for that double play if they can get it. That's a 1. We have to go to the computer for the wild pitch rating on Clear because, of course, these cards don't have it. He's an 8 wild pitch, a 0 balk. So 1 to 8, we got a wild pitch. And we do. So it's a wild pitch that's going to score a run. That run is, again, charged to Wegman. It also takes away the double play. So second costly wild pitch. And Gladden is up. Infield back. They need outs. 1-5. Fly ball left field B ? Gagne runs pretty well. So this is a good chance to get a sacrifice fly out of this. Left fielder Deer is a -2, though. So you're looking at a 1-17, basically, because you add 2 and then you take away the 2 for the arm. So 1-17 for Gagne. He's going to try to score on the sacrifice fly. And he does. So it's a sacrifice fly for Dan Gladden. And that closes the book now on Wegman. He's going to be charged with all 4 runs. And it is now 7-4 with 1 out and a runner at second base. Steve Lombardozzi, your batter. Puck it on deck. 6-4 for Clear. That's a catcher X. We're looking at Surhoff. He's a 3E5. 3 and an 8. This could be interesting. Could be a wild pitch or pass ball or something. 3 and an 8 for the catcher. 3 and an 8 is a P/P, so possible pass ball. That's a 6, and he is an E5. No 6 there. So it's possible pass ball in the P/P, and of course the P/P, we use this rule here that talks about the wild pitch rating of the pitcher. So Mark Clear, he's already thrown 1 wild pitch, but so if we reach his wild pitch rating again, it'll be a pass ball on Surhoff. And again, Clear's wild pitch rating is an 8. And it is going to be a pass ball. So it's a pass ball, and that will move the runner to third. So runner now at third with 1 out. Brewers kind of falling apart here. Infield is back. They need the outs. 3-9 for Lombardozzi, and that's a single to right field. There's an anti-clutch there, but there's only one out, so the anti-clutch does not take effect. And now Mark Clear not able to get it done. This is the 5th run of the inning. It's now 7-5. And now the Brewers may get their bullpen going again because they may need it. Kirby Puckett steps up. Tying run at the plate. Lombardozzi, not going to be held, not going to go anywhere. Clear trying to get out of the mess. 2-10 for Puckett, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-6, that's a 2. Base hit for Puckett. Twins looking to bat around here in this inning. Here comes Ken Herbeck, and that may be all for Clear because he just can't get it done. He just cannot get it done. Brewers will go to left-hander John Henry Johnson to face Herbeck because Herbeck traditionally has trouble against left-handed pitching. And this might be the only batter he faces because you got righties after that. So John Henry Johnson is going to come on. Clear pitches a third of an inning. Going to give up 2 hits. So far, no runs, but these 2 are his responsibility. No walks, no strikeouts. So we bring in John Henry Johnson. The only other lefty they have is their closer, Plesac, and it's kind of early for Plesac. Plus, he's been used quite a bit. So they're going to have to try to dig deep with somebody else. So John Henry Johnson on the real season, as you can see, was 0-1 with a 9.57 ERA. On the replay, he's 2-0, but his ERA is 16.20. 10 hits and 10 innings pitched and 23 hits. And in those 10 innings, 12 walks. So trying to play that lefty-lefty matchup against Herbeck, hoping that they get it off Herbeck's card so he can get an out. If it gets off his card, it might be kind of dangerous. And it is 5-9, but it's a ground ball shortstop X. So if Swain can get it done, they can get a double play and get out of the inning, but it's going to be tough. 3-E-25. 3-18, though, is probably a G1. This could be a double play. 3 and an 18 is a G1. We're just sweating the error out. It's a 14, and he is an E25. E25, there's a 13, but no 14. So this will be a Giovanni's Taylor shop. Tailor-made double play, 6-4-3. And talk about doing the job. John Henry Johnson just did the job and gets the Brewers out of further trouble. I said 4 runs. It should be 5 runs. Not 4. It should be 5 there. But the double play is just what Trebelhorn ordered. Six to 4-3. Dale Swain was able to get it done. And that's it for John Henry Johnson. He did exactly what they asked him to do. And so they'll go to somebody else in the 8th inning. We don't know who yet. Probably Chris Basio, but we're not sure. So the Twins need a new pitcher because Blyleven didn't make it out of the 6th. They also need a new catcher because they pinch hit for the catcher, Butera. And that new catcher, let's see here. I put Salas on it, but I think actually Salas is not even on the roster. He was before. It's actually Tim Laudner. So it's actually going to be Tim Laudner who's the catcher, not Salas. It's Tim Laudner. Salas is not on the roster. So it's going to be Laudner doing the catching. Timmy Laudner. But now who's doing the pitching is the question. Let's take a look and see who they have that is at least somewhat rested. It's been a beleaguered bullpen for sure. Looks like Keith Atherton has the most rest, so that's where we're going. Keith Atherton. So Atherton it is. in what is now a 7. I mean, it was a pitcher's duel for a long time. For the last couple innings, it seemed like it's taken forever because of all these runs. So Atherton on the regular season, the 87 season, 7-5, 4.54 ERA, and 2 saves. On the replays, 1-5 with an 8.83 ERA and 3 saves. 36 innings pitched, 41 hits. So Atherton trying to keep things where they are at 7-5. It is a 7th inning stretch, but we're just going to keep rolling here. That's right. Salas got traded to New York. That was part of the trade that brought Joe Niekro from the Yankees to the Twins. All right. So Laudner's the catcher, the backup catcher. Here's Rick Manning. 6-2. Ground ball first base C. So Herbeck will get it and flip to Atherton covering. 1 away for Cecil Cooper. Kathy does have a trivia question for us in the top of the 8th. Tim, I don't know. I guess I got to come up with a name for it because I do the Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning, and I do a 6-pack when there's 6 runs, but I don't have a name for the 5 runs. Here's Cooper, 1-7. That's a strikeout. Here's Rob Deere. 1-5 and struck him out. So Atherton comes in and shuts the door and keeps the score 7-5. And now the Brew Crew will go to their bullpen. Once again, they used to have Chuck Krim, but he's in the starting rotation now, so they don't really want to go that way. You'd love to go to Aldrich because Bosio has been worked kind of bit. But, man, Aldrich is just not a very good pitcher. But you got to use him at some point. You can't keep avoiding it, I guess. You're going to have to use him at some point. Boy, what do we do here? They're going to go with Aldrich and take their chances. So Jay Aldrich is coming on. 3-1, a 4.94 ERA in the real season with no saves. In the replays, only pitched 2 innings. He's only given up 1 hit and no runs, so he's done pretty well for himself. But just compared to somebody else, I feel like I'm using the wrong pitcher, but we'll see. They're trying to bridge the gap to get to Mr. Plesac, if possible. So Aldrich is a -3 hold, so that certainly helps the cause. Atherton's a 0, and Laudner... What is Laudner's arm? Laudner is a 0 as well, so he's a 0 hold. All right, so Gary Gaetti will lead things off against Aldrich. They sent 9 to the plate in the previous inning. 110, that's a ballpark blast. It's only a 1-5, so deep fly to left for Gaetti. And Aldrich catches a break there right off the bat. 1 away for Roy Smalley. 5-4 switch hitter. Fly ball center field X. We are looking at Felder. He's a 3-E11. 3-20. He'll get to that all day long. It's the E11 that they have to be concerned about. And he is an E11 with an 11 here. So 11 and an 11 for a center fielder, but he gets by with it. 16, 3, 13, and 18 are the errors. So making the play there is Mr. Felder. 2 down. And here's Randy Bush. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. 6-11. Ground ball first base X. We're looking at Mr. Robideau, and that's going to be an adventure. 4-E25. 4-14, though, he'll at least get to it. Now, whether he bobbles it or not is a different story. 4-14 is a G2. That's a 7, and he is an E25 at first base. E25, and miraculously, there is no 7. 9, 11, 12, 14, 3, 17, and 18. So Robideau will get to it and flip to Aldrich covering. And how about that? Aldrich pitches a solid 1, 2, 3 inning. They may let him try to close the game. and give Plesac a much-needed day off. Computer is showing Plesac is tired from overusage. So we'd love to give him a day off, but don't want to blow the game either at the same time. So Milder is looking to get some insurance here. That's a 5-11, and that's a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Gladden, a 2E5. You'd think he would make the play. Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to have had a trivia question. My bad, Kathy. I skipped all over you. I'm sorry about that. Let me finish this at bat, and if you want to do your trivia, you can go right ahead. I'm totally just miffed. I was into the game and totally got out of that, what I was doing. 5-9, pop out to second base. So if you want to go ahead and do your trivia, Kathy, you go right ahead. I kind of bumbled that one. Or if you want to save it for the top of the ninth, we can do that too, or bottom of the eighth, whatever. If you want to do it now, if you want to do it at the top of the ninth, you let me know, and I'll clear the way for you. All right, here we go. Here's the trivia question. My bad on that. Who shut out their opponent 4-0 in a World Series but only scored 13 runs in the entire series? That's a good guess, Joel. I was thinking that 66 Orioles because the Dodgers just didn't score a whole lot of runs back then. So I'm thinking the Orioles, 66 Orioles against the Dodgers would be the answer on that. And Thomas, to answer your question, yes, if I brought Plesac in, he would come into the game tired automatically. Any dots would count against him. Joel, right on the ball with that trivia question. Belated trivia question because I didn't give Kathy the cue to do it, and I went ahead and played the whole top of the eighth and didn't even think about it. I was so wrapped up in trying to get Aldridge through the inning and sweating that one out. I forgot about the other stuff. All right, here's Robideau. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Does Milwaukee have anybody that can play first base is the question. That's what we're trying to figure out. That's what we're trying to figure out. Let's look at their bench because he's just been awful. Let's see. They do have Jim Paciorek that could play first base, and they could pinch hit with somebody else. But Paciorek is a 4E29, so he's worse. Deere is 4E24. Cooper's only DH. He cannot play first base. Surhoff, he's terrible. They're all just terrible at first base. There's nobody that they have on the roster that can play first base effective at all that I'm looking at. Nobody. Schroeder's a 4E11. That's the best you're going to get. I just don't see anybody out there. So we'll leave it out to what it is. All right, here is Robideau. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. 5-10. This time he didn't strike out. He flew to center. 2 away. And here is B.J. Surhoff. 1-3, and that's a split. 1-2 is a single. That'll be a line out to second. So we're going to have Jay Aldridge try to get the save. Basio is in relief if he needs it because, like I said, we've overworked Mr. Plesac to where he's showing tired on the computer. So if we brought him in, he would be tired from the jump. And any dot would be under, where a base hit would be allowed. So we're going to see what happens. It'll be Gagne, Laudner, and you can't pinch hit for Laudner because they have no other catcher. So it's Gagne, Laudner, and Gladden. On the bench for the Twins, they still have a couple of good, decent hitters. They got Mark Davidson and Tom Brunansky. And they need a pinch runner. They got Al Newman. But I'm thinking Brunansky's probably the best of the bunch as far. Well, Davidson's, they're about the same. But Brunansky has a little more power. But we'll start out with Gagne. can't pinch hit for the guy that hit the only cycle in the league. So let him have at it. 2-8, and that's a single, leadoff single. Espacio is loosening in the bullpen. Now it says Aldridge is tired. I don't know how in the world he could be tired. But you know what? Brewers don't care. They're not going to dilly-dally around. They're going right to Chris Bosio. They don't want to take a chance. Aldridge pitched him an inning plus. If a hit, don't know about the run yet, but they're going to Bosio to try to close the deal. Facing Tim Laudner. And Laudner does, like I said, does have to hit because there's no other catchers on the roster. So they're going to Bosio. He's the only guy in the bullpen that's not listed as tired. Bosio on the real season, 11-8 with 2 saves and a 5.24 ERA. On the replays, 2-0 with 5.26 ERA and already 4 saves. So he'd be going for his 5th save despite only having 2 in the real world. But that's just the way these replays go. I mean, you go with the hot hand sometimes. And, of course, when you got a guy that's tired, you can't really do a whole lot. All right, so here is Mr. Laudner at the plate. His first at bat since coming in as a defensive replacement. Laudner hitting .284 on the replay, 7 homers, 17 driven in. He only hit .181 real world. 3-6 for Laudner is a strikeout. So Bosio comes in and gets the strikeout of Laudner, and that'll bring up Dan Gladden. There will be a pinch hitter for Lombardozzi, I do believe. I think we're going to have Brunansky probably pinch hit for him. Here's Gladden. That's assuming there's no double play. 6-9 for Bosio, and that's a 1 for a triple. And we get a, how about that? The double die shows up as a 1. It's a 6-9 where a 1's a triple, anything else is a single, and we get a 1. Dan Gladden in the replay had 2 triples. Or in the season, he had 2 triples. This will be his first triple of the replay. So a RBI triple from Dan Gladden. And Bosio running into issues. Now the tying run is 90 feet away. Tying run is 90 feet away, and there will be a pinch hitter for Lombardozzi as they have to have offense. They're looking for somebody they can bring in. They're going to bring in actually Mark Davidson. He's got a better average. So Mark Davidson, slightly better average than Brunansky has. So he will pinch hit in the 9th, and then Al Newman will play second base if we go to the bottom of the 9th. That's if we get there. Infield is going to have to come in. You got no choice. Tying runs 90 feet away. You don't have any choice in the matter. So we go to the bench, bring in Mark Davidson. And if they go to the bottom of the 9th, then Newman will play second, and Brunansky will be the last guy left on the bench. So Davidson on the replay is hitting .205, a homer and 6 driven in. He hit .267 real world. The infield is in. And it was 7-0. I never thought we'd get a close game like this. 6-11 on Bosio. That's a ground ball first base X. And you know who we have at first base. What are you going to do? They would love to have Greg Brock, but he's not around. So this is going to be something. 4E25 for Robideau. And it's a 1. Go figure. RBI single from Mark Davidson, and we have a tie ball game. Twins have come all the way back from 7-0. A blown save from Chris Bosio. Mark Davidson, the pinch hit single. He will be run for by Al Newman because Newman would take over at second anyway. Plus, he's a better runner. He got a chance to steal a base, get in scoring position. So I didn't check for the error, either 7. Make sure there's no error on top of it. E25, first baseman, and a 7. Let's see here, E25. No, there's no 7 there, but it gets through on that 1. So we are tied. Newman's going to try for the lead. Bosio's hold is a +1. So if you get the lead, it would be a 1-14 with only one out to get in the scoring position. Man, I'll hate to take the bat out of Puckett's hands. So you know what? They're not going to steal. They're going to hold. He's going to be on, and the Brewers are going to have to hold him, but they're not going to steal because they don't want to take the bat out of Puckett's hands. So they will hold him at first base. But coming into pinch run will be Newman, and that will leave Brunansky as the only bench player remaining. So Basio facing Puckett. One out and a runner at first being held. 2 runs are in. 2-6 for Puckett, and that's a single 1-star. Base hit for Puckett. And to be fair, the pitchers, most of this stuff is coming off of the batter cards. Majority of it is anyway. Here's Herbeck. And you know what? They're tired or not tired, they're going to Plesac. Plesac's going to come in for Basio. Basio pitched a third of an inning. Aldrich gives up the run. So he gave it 1 run. The other run is charged to Basio. But he's responsible for both of these runners as well, so can't really fill that in yet. Basio gave up 3 hits. So Plesac is going to come on to try to get out of this inning and keep it tied and give his team a chance to win it in the 9th. And plus, Herbeck traditionally, again, does not fare well against left-handed pitching. So Plesac is going to come on. All right, so first and second. And coming into the ball game is Mr. Plesac. Plesac is 5 and in the replay. He is 4-2 with a 3.60 ERA and 14 saves. In the real season, 5-6, 2.61 ERA and 23 saves. So Plesac facing Herbeck, first and second, 1 out. Infield looking for the double play. Lefty-lefty matchup on Herbeck. 1-3, and that's a ballpark single check. Ballpark single check 1-6. That's a 17. So that'll be a liner to second base. 2 down, and now it is Gary Gaetti time against Plesac. Remember, Plesac is tired, so any dot is going to automatically come up. It's a clutch situation for Gaetti, and he gains a hit on 3-9 against lefties and 1-4 against lefties. 1-5, he grounds it to short, so he would have gotten that clutch hit on a 1-4, but on 1-5, he grounds it to short, and we are going to the bottom of the 9th. Al Newman will play second base now for the Twins. And Atherton pitching, he's retired all 6 he's faced, so there's no reason in the world to take him out. Going to leave him in there. So Basio is going to give up the 1 run. 7-7 ball game. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Didn't see that one coming when it was 7-0 after 6 innings, but the pitching for the Brewers just imploded. All right, so here's Gantner. He homered his last time up. Computer's making me put in Newman at second base from his pinch running duties, so let me clean that up. All right, Gantner. 2-10. That's a fly to center, and that's 1 away. We could be looking at extra innings. Dale Swain, though, homered his last time up. 2-6. He won't do it this time. He grounds it to the new second baseman, Al Newman. Tell you, bring a new guy in, the ball finds you. So it's up to Mike Felder, who was 0 for 5, or 0 for 4. 1-10, make it 0 for 5 now, as he lines it to second base. And Atherton pitches 3 shutout innings for Keith Atherton. And he didn't get it. He retired all 9 that he faced. And he might even, I don't know if I want to push it to go further. Potential spam. That's what I need to have call in. All right, so we're going to free baseball, which means Plezak's got to come back out there and pitch again. His arm's going to fall off. I'm going to move this over here so you can see the cards. It's going to be Smalley, Bush, and Gagne, but I think they're going to pinch hit for Bush with Brunansky. So Brunansky will come in and pinch hit for Bush because Bush just doesn't hit lefties very well at all. So Brunansky will come in. That'll clear the bench for the Twins. They have nobody else left. This is the last guy they have left. And he will play right field in the 10th. Reardon would come on if they take the lead, but if it stays the same, I'm not sure what they're going to do. Figure it out. So coming on, well, first of all, we got Roy Smalley gets to bat before that happens, so don't jump ahead. So Roy Smalley is your batter. Switch hitter. Turnaround bat right-handed. He is 1 for 4 on the game against Plezak. 1-5, and that's a home run. 1-15, and that is a 15. That is gone. Roy Smalley. How do you like that? 1-5 is a 1-15 home run against lefties, and that is a 15. Unbelievable. The Twins have come all the way back and taken 8-7 lead, and now Jeff Reardon is starting to loosen in the Twins bullpen. Home run number 4 for Roy Smalley. And you can tell the dejected look on the face of Dan Plezak. They're still going to make that pinch hitting move because Brunansky is a much better fielder. He is a 2-1 arm, E4 versus a 4+1 E6. So probably would make the move defensively if nothing else, but they're definitely going to do it offensively. I put them. It's number 5. Okay. So Brunansky will now make his way on after the home run from Smalley. Brunansky's going to make his way in. Tom Kelly has used the entire bench now. Brunansky on the replay is hitting .257, 8 homers, 26 driven inning at .259 real world. 2-8 against the lefty. That's a ballpark blast, and that's an 8, but it's only a 5. So Plezak caught a break. Had that been the Metrodome, that would have been gone. But at County Stadium, it's just a loud out. 1 away, and here comes Greg Gagne. .38 for Gagne against the lefty is a single. So Gagne gets a base hit. Plezak is a -2 hold. So I didn't factor that in. -2 on the hold. So they will not send Gagne. They will keep him where he is. And here's Tim Laudner. They will hold Gagne, but won't try to steal. Here's Laudner. 6-8 for Laudner, and that's a strikeout. So Plezak does get the strikeout there. 2 outs, and here's Dan Gladden. But Jeff Reardon's already loose and ready in the bullpen for the bottom of the 10th inning. Kudos to Atherton, though. 3 innings of solid, perfect relief with 2 strikeouts, giving up nothing. If the Twins win this game, he will get a well-deserved win. So here's Gladden. 5-4. That's a ballpark single check, but that's a 10, so that will end up being a fly to left. And the Twins take an 8-7 lead as we go to the bottom of the 10th. So now we got to bring in Brunansky to play right field. And bring in Mr. Jeff Reardon. And he's definitely got plenty of rest. So Reardon will make his way on for the Twins to try to wrap this thing up. Reardon 8-8 with a 4.48 ERA and 31 saves in the real season. On the replays, 3-1 with 10 saves and a 377 earned run average. Reardon's a +1 hold, so that'll make him a 1. Now, one thing the Brewers do they have a lot of guys on the bench they can go to if they choose. Rick Manning is your scheduled leadoff hitter, and he is 2 for 4, but he's only a .228 hitter. And you do have guys like Robin Yount on the bench, along with Glenn Braggs, some others here. We know Robin Yount's going to pinch hit somewhere. I just got to find a place for him. And let's see. Manning's the leadoff guy. And if he can get on base, that would help. But I think they're going to pinch hit here. We're going to have a double pinch hit coming up. Glenn Braggs is going to pinch hit for Manning, and Yount's going to pinch hit for Cooper. So we're going to have, and I realize I'm taking out 2 lefties to bring in 2 righties, but the 2 righties are so much better average-wise. So we're going to have Braggs lead off, pinch hit here in the 10th. If it goes to the 11th, he'll stay in the game, play right field. And Yount will pinch hit for Cooper. And if, he'll stay in the game as a DH if it goes extra. So Reardon will be facing Glenn Braggs, and then he'll have to deal with Robin Yount. So we bring Glenn Braggs in. Treblehorn trying to do whatever he can to try to stir things up. They've been stagnant on offense in the last several innings. So Braggs on the replay is hitting .285, 7 homers, 33 driven inning at .269 real world. Facing off against the closer, Jeff Reardon. .46, and that's a strikeout for Reardon. So Braggs out on strikes. And that would have been a strikeout no matter who was batting, because 4-6 against lefties would have also been a strikeout. So now we bring on Robin Yount to pinch hit for Cooper. Yount will pinch hit for Cooper. Rob Deere is on deck. Yount on the replay hitting .303, 12 homers, 45 driven inning at .312 real world. 1-6, and that's a triple 1-6 for Yount. That's a 13. That's a pinch hit single. So he couldn't get the triple he wanted, but he does get the single. Single for Robin Yount. Now, do they want to pinch run is the question. They do have Castillo on the bench. That's a good runner. Potential base stealer. Yount's actually a good runner too. So we're not going to pinch run, obviously. But he could try to steal and get in scoring position with a +1 hold. That would be a 1-15 if he got the lead. Man, tough call there. You also would eliminate a double play chance. But Rob Deere doesn't hit into many double plays. So I think they're going to actually just hold Yount there and not try to steal. They're just going to hold him there and hope Rob Deere does something against Mr. Reardon. 3-7 for Deere, and that's a walk. So Rob Deere draws the base on ball, so he didn't have to steal second. Reardon walked him over there. So first and second now for Paul Molitor. Now Tom Kelly sweating it out with Jeff Reardon. Molitor is 1 for 4. He had that big 2-run triple in the 4th. 5-10. And that's an in-home run chance, 1-7, but that's an 8. Look how close that came. 5-10. A 1-7 is an in-home run chance, but we get an 8. 8. Unbelievable. Molitor came that close to ending the ball game with a 3-run homer. As Maxwell Smart would say, missed it by that much. Game of inches. That's supposed to be football, not baseball, but that's out number 2. Now we're down to Billy Joe Robideau, and there's no way in the hell we're letting Billy Joe Robideau hit. We're going to find somebody that can hit better than Billy Joe Robideau. There's got to be somebody out. I can hit better than Billy Joe Robideau. So they're going to Bill Schroeder. Backup catcher and a .332 hitter. So Schroeder is going to pinch hit for Robideau. I know it's going against conventional wisdom to bring in a right-hander to pinch hit for a left-hander against a right-hander, but when your guy hits 100 points higher, you got to do something. So, pinch hitting it is. Schroeder. And let's get his numbers. Schroeder on the real season, a .332 average, 14 home runs, and just 250 at-bats. On the replay, Schroeder is hitting .277, 3 homers, 14 driven in, and 94 at-bats. So first and second, it is a clutch situation, by the way. And in the clutch, he will lose a hit on 3-8 and 3-12. Also loses hits on 2-8 and 2-9. So maybe wasn't the best guy to bring in, but you don't. When you're managing the game real world, you don't know. You don't have that information in front of you. So here is Schroeder. 4-7, ground ball, second base X. That's Al Newman. He came in to replace Lombardozzi. Al Newman is a 3-E-10 at second base. 3-E-10. 3 and a 13 should be good. 3 and 13 is a G2, which is good enough, but that's a 16. That could be problems. E10 at second base and a 16. And there's a 16 right there under the E10. We have the bases loaded. Al Newman just booted it. E16, a 16 on an E10, and we got a 16. So there you go, E4 on Newman, and the game is extended. So Newman couldn't get it done. Schroeder reaches, and now here's B.J. Surhoff with a chance to win it. Possibly. Bases are loaded, 2 outs in the clutch for Surhoff. He will gain a couple hits, 1-8 and 1-9, and also 2-2. So bases loaded, 2 outs. Bottom of the 10th of an 8-7 game. Reardon to Surhoff. 2-8 for Surhoff, and that's going to be game over right there. That's a 6, a single 2 stars. That's all they need. And there's your ball game. The Brewers, after blowing a 7-0 lead, come back to win it. Blown save for Jeff Reardon. Ball game is over. Brewers win it by the score of 9-8 in 10 innings. B.J. Surhoff, the walk-off single, has done it. And there is your ball game. We go to the box score to get the totals of this wild and woolly game. Now the Brewers with the win have just retied the Toronto Blue Jays for first place. Poor Jeff Reardon walks off the mound ejected. For the Brewers, 9 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. For the Twins, 8 runs, 14 hits, and that one big error on Al Newman cost them the game. No question about it. Reardon will take the loss. He went 2/3 of an inning. Gave up 2 hits and 2 runs, which were not earned. Walked 1, struck out 1. But he will drop now to 3-2. It's his 5th blown save of the replay. He's now 3-2. The win goes to a very beleaguered Dan Plesac. He improves to 5-2. We're going to make sure we give Plesac the day off next game. He went an inning and 2/3. 2 hits and a run. 1 walk and no walks and 1 strikeout. So there you go. Brewers win it 9-8. 9-8. And with that victory, where the Brewers steal this one after blowing it, we go back to our standings, and Toronto is now tied with the Brewers. The Brewers are 40-19. The Toronto Blue Jays are 41-20. So by percentage points, Milwaukee's in first place, but they're actually tied. The Yankees are now 6 games back, and the Tigers are 7.5 games back. So Blue Jays and the Brewers are making some separation in the AL East. Twins, a tough luck loss. They drop back into a 4th place tie with Kansas City. They're now 8.5 back of the Oakland A's. They are 6 games worse than what they were in real world. They were 36-27 at this point, real world. In the replay, they're 30-33. So tomorrow's game, we leave Milwaukee And we will head to Kansas City for the Oakland A's and the Kansas City Royals. It'll be Kurt Young, a lefty, against Charlie Leibrandt, a lefty. Oakland A's holding a 5-game lead on California. Kansas City is in a tie with Minnesota at 8.5 back in 4th place. So Oakland can just keep pressing those other teams down by winning. So we'll see what happens. No, the ones I play offline, I don't use this. I don't use a score sheet. I play it on the computer. I have the cards out, and I mean I don't have the cards out. I roll the dice. I manually enter the dice rolls and play it on the computer. It's just easier for me. I can do it sitting in bed, and it just gets through the thing faster instead of having to pull out a score sheet and do everything. So when I do it offline, it's usually only one game out of the set that I do offline. So 2 at the most. So because usually there's 7 games, so play 1 each day, play 5 online and 2 offline. And this week it's only 6 games, so it's 5 online, 1 offline. So that's what we got here. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed that wild and woolly game from Milwaukee. Milwaukee led it 7-0 after 6. Minnesota forced extra innings with 2 runs in the 9th. Actually took the lead with a home run in the 10th by Roy Smalley, but the error by Al Newman opened the door, kept the game going, and B.J. Surhoff 2-run single capped it off for the victory. Plesac the win, Reardon the loss. So that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we will see you all down the road.